Good morning, people. It's Saturday here in Sweden, and I'm back at my computer in Fusion for 60. And the small challenge I posted earlier. So this is the shape. This is the workflow we're going to look at. And here's another one that's a bit shorter. Yes, you can reduce it, but I'm doing basically the same thing here. I just has compressed down things. So this is not really interesting. It uses a move command, which I try to avoid. And yeah, let's of course first take a look at the properties. So with this workflow, what I'm going to do, we got a property with steel of 220.987 or 221 grams. Console that, we can have a look at the other workflow. We get basically the same. We should get the same, but there's a small difference. 220.9701, not 98. So 100 of a gram in difference, but it's still 221 grams. If you do, let's put up a drawing here. If you get 242 grams, you're most probably using emboss, which doesn't work. Well, it works, it creates a body, but the problem with emboss is that the faces here. Oh, let's look at the model. We can look from front here. And this model here, you can see I have parallel faces here, so that the pin can slide through this body up here, slide in this slot. But if you use emboss, the edges here are going to be normal to the outer face. That's how emboss works. It means the dimension on the inside here is going to be more narrow than on the outside, which means it's going to pinch the pin. We want to have these parallel away. We also do an expect to check that. Expect these two here. We should get 60 millimeters what we get. So we have a parallel distance of 60 millimeters between these. There are some, it's not perfect. I would love for Fusion have tools to create cam slots like this, but it doesn't, so we do some workarounds. But let's get going. We can keep this. We're going to create a new design. As always, I recommend start by saving. I'm not doing this. I'm going to do this demonstration. Start by saving. Create a component if you want to do that. If you want to get everything inside a component. So if you need to move the body or a component, the sketch will follow along. If you do not do any component, move the body, you will not have a sketch in right position and stuff like that. So, but we're going to focus on making the design. So let's move this to the side and open up that. We're going to move in so we can see the sketches of the drawing. We're going to start with a sketch, and we're going to start with creating a cylinder. So we're going to do two circles. Circle, dimension. This is going to be 50. This here is going to be 40. Yes, there are other ways that we can do revolves and stuff like that. Want to save steps, as I showed. If you want to do as well, like 12, 13, 14 steps. This is done in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, including the remove. Yeah, it's possible to shrink it down, but sometimes you need to know what you're doing. So keep it simple sometimes. Do not compress your workflow just because you want to compress it down to something very short. E for extrude. This circle here, the height is 80. So we have created our, let's turn off colors for now. We have created our cylinder. Let's open up our browser so we can see things. We have one body, one fully defined sketch. I have turned off auto hide the sketch. That's because of that I have to hide the sketch by hand. We will for now hide this. We're gonna move the model around. So look from the front. I like to sketch from known direction. New sketch on this plane here. Looking from the front. Yes, the body is here. We're gonna do two circles. We can do a line between the circles. We are basically now creating this part load here with the 50 and the R, radius 8 of the circle. That's going to be horizontal. When you use a coincident constraint, you can use horizontal, but coincident with a line, and the origin point here locks in that direction. These two should be equal. And really, this one I will not use. I'm only making this for reference for myself when I'm watching, because I happen to add the dimension up here. You can do on the circle down where it's up to you. So we can dimension this. You can do right click and set radius and do 8. I do radius because that's what I have in the drawing, so I keep the same reference for my dimensions. Oh, dimension, this here, not that one. The line here is going to be 50. The dimension from this tangent of this arc and down is going to be 7. So we right click, select pick circle arc tangent. From here to here, we move out, and then the 7. And we have a fully defined sketch, and that should be all we need here. Yes, that's all we need. Gonna finish sketch. We are gonna turn on our body again. I like to do the feature as close to the sketch as possible. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna extrude this here, extrude this profile in this direction towards the front, as I'm using for my working from the front all the time. Distance can be simply be all. It's gonna cut away, or you can do, let's see, 2 object outside object like that. It works too. Hit OK. Now we done our first round hole, which is, look fun. You can think of it like the pin is pointing directly towards us. And now we're going to create the slot here. And the thing we're going to use surfaces. Because we can switch over to surfaces. We're going to create a sketch. Going to turn it on this direction. So the hole is to the left. We're looking at the right side. Create sketch here. I'm going to make simply just a line here to begin with. I'm going to hide the body. Use this. I'm going to project in this point. Make a coincidence between this and here, like that. We can use, now we have no dimension of this. I don't want this to go all the way into the center because I'm using Thicken. And if you make an helix that are connected to its center point, the geometry inside here it's a bit wonky and Fusion can crash. So we want to use, I want to use intersect for fun of it, of these two here, circles. Gonna hide that sketch again. And now we can dimension from here to here. This is not very important. It's going to do it 4 millimeters. So it needs to be slightly larger if we turn on the body again. I want this line to be slightly wider than the thickness of our wall here. So I know the surface is going all the way through. There's a problem sometimes you make surfaces that are perfectly the same dimension as a cylinder or something like that. You get faces that are lining up almost perfectly lining up, but math is not always perfect, so you get errors. So by that, we're done all we need. Yes, finish sketch. We're going to do a sweep. We're going to take this line here. We're going to sweep it along this axis we created here earlier, which is the center to center length. And we need to twist it around. And as I say here, is 5 slots on the cylinder. If you look at this, you can see these are on top of each other. That means that the revolution from here to the next center here needs to be 1/5 of 1 full revolution. And 1 full revolution, if we are 60 degrees, divided by, oops, sorry, not 4, by 5. And as you see, this is going the wrong way. Yes, I deliberately did it left-handed, not right-handed. So you need to go back and put a minus sign in front. You've done that. We're going to hit OK. Gonna hide that body for now. Now somehow we're gonna need to get the circle up here too. For convenience, this sketch here, I'm gonna use the dimension for this sketch here. I could name it, but it's a slightly different way of using it. I'm gonna right click and say show dimensions. So get the dimension are visible. Just move it slightly out of the way. I'm gonna construct a plane along path, tangent chained off, and this path, pull it all the way to outside, the distance 0. Hit OK. Gonna create a sketch on this little plane, and it gets origin point gets on the path. We're gonna do a circle, just simple circle like this, and go right click. Oh, we're gonna do a circle like this. We're gonna do a dimension of this. You can't pick dimension from the start. So we're gonna do dimension out here, right click, and once again select radius, because we need to pick up a radius dimension. And we get this little box. Gonna click out here, gonna turn around, and we can now simply, this is fully selected, so you're gonna be removed. So gonna click on this dimension here. So we can pick up dimensions from other sketches. And by doing that, this is our driven dimension from this here. So if we change this one here, this will also update. I should do one more check here. What was that? D5. Remember D5. So with that done, we're going to do the extrude now. We're going to hide the surface body, open up this, we're going to extrude this circle, distance to object inside of a cylinder, hit OK. And we can now hide that sketch, hide that sketch, hide that sketch. Now we have our 2 round holes. Looking from here, we have perfect circle cut through, where the pin will fit. Now we need to create the slot shape up here. So we're going to use Thicken, and the face is going to be this one, And the thickness, yes, it's going to be 8. I'll play out. When you do symmetric, which you know direction is not one side, is symmetric. You need to type in the thickness here. And let's see, D5. If I'm not, oops, sorry. D5 should pick up. If we click here, we can see 8 millimeters. FX out here drops to over to the formula using, like that. But we don't want to create a new body. We want to do a cut, like that. We still have a surface body here which has been cut away, but is still in the browser. So for clearance, we're going to right click and select remove to clean that up. Then we now have one slot. We'll do circular pattern. I will do faces. You can do features wherever you want. You can do faces because there are not many. There are 4 faces. Click on the faces. Axis, you can select the center axis or simply just the edge of a circular face. Quantity is going to be 5. Set up a, yes, you can use a parameter for number. You want to do that. Hit OK. Let Fusion think for a while. We are almost finished. We're going to add a physical material. It is now set to, because I'm using, I have steel already, but if you want to do, you do metal, you scroll all the way down, there's a lot of materials, physical material, not appearance, and you will find, where are you? First of a steel, there's steel, just drop it on it, close, and if you right click here and see on properties, we get 220.9871 grams. It gives the same answer over and over. So this is the workflow I use to create this type of slots in a cylinder where the faces are parallel. So wherever you're looking from here to here, it's always 60 millimeters in this case, or radius of 8 for the pin. Even I circle up and down. So that was that. Please leave a comment or tell me how wrong I am or how much faster you can do it or whatever you want to do. With that said, take care, see you around, and goodbye.